I started out in show business, more particularly audio. I went through an audio school about 12 years ago. And little by little, getting into show business, I would see all the different parts, all the different things, whether it be video, audio, and lighting, and developed an interest in lighting. And little by little, with people training me, with going into it more and more, I ended up learning lighting, show business lighting. And about 3 years ago, I got tired of what I could say the ephemer of show business, just kind of building it up one day, taking it away, people live their experience and that's it. And I wanted to get more into things that are more permanent, things that people can live on a daily basis, things that can evolve with time within the city. And now where I'm at, I'm kind of seeing all these technologies coming together, and I'm trying to pull what I've learned in show business and bring it towards more permanent cityscape installations. So make it a little funkier than just a regular design. That's where I pride myself in saying that I'm a designer that knows the technology, and I think it's very, very important because you can kind of get a gist of the limitations that you have when you're making a design, when you're drawing something out. You need to know what the technology is, how it works, how far you can push it, and everything of the sort. So I would say really on both standpoints, I try to draw the line. It's hard to draw because I always say a good designer doesn't have to know technology, but vice versa and the opposite way around. A good designer that knows technology, I think, can do great, great things that actually work and that are realistic. In what we do, we're in mainly educational spaces, whether it be schools, museums, or historic venues. And interactivity, depending on what it is, can be many different things, whether a camera that reprojects what's happening onto lights, onto video, or even as simple as a button to play. Where we're from in Quebec, we always have the English-French. So pretty much every installation that we do is interactive because we have to tell it, I want the French version or I want the audio version. So yes, interactivity is primordial and very, very key to what we do. You know, I've gone through many different sources of inspiration depending on what I'm doing, but I will look online to try to kind of see and to think outside the box. I would think as much as I can shock people and say, I've never seen this before, I would say those are somewhat sources of inspiration, if not many of the designers that we're here today with, and just the client itself is a source of inspiration. Kind of having his mandate, having him ask me something and going above and beyond that is kind of how I inspire myself, and trying to shock him and say, wow, I didn't think about it that way, but I like it. So that's my big inspiration and the drive, let's say, to keep designing and doing things like we do. I must say, very particular, but Facebook groups. Facebook groups, there's communities for every single software that we use for the and it's kind of a closed group with Google, so you get answers to the questions directly. Online forums and Facebook communities, I would say, is where a lot of the real new stuff comes out. It doesn't need to be published, it doesn't need to be put in page form to be able to be presented. It's just someone talking about what he wants and how he wants it, and getting the information directly. So I think there's a lot more flow of information throughout forums and Facebook groups, as opposed to a company presenting a new product that they've all cleaned up and made perfect for you to actually see. Let's say we move away from the commercial hustle and bustle and what the common public sees, and try to go deeper into the people that are actually using this daily. I could say maybe the first architectural installation I did. I was coming fresh out of show business. I thought I knew everything about lighting and got thrusted with a project to light up a facade for a building from the 1800s. So there was to take into account, we don't want to see the luminaires, we want to see what they do. Can we make a hole in the building? If so, we have to see multiple government agencies to make sure that we can make a hole in the building, and where and why, and just getting a beautiful effect that doesn't look, I call it the Las Vegas effect. So lighting up a building with dynamic luminaires, all the while staying true to yourself and the architecture of the building, and just making it look nice without seeing the luminaires or any technology, because it's a building from the 1800s. Circadian rhythms, I think, or even to have the common person be much more aware of how important lighting is in his or her life, whether it be in government policies that take into account lighting. I'd really like to see more people realize how important it is in their lives to adequately be lit, whether it be a sidewalk on the side of the street where you're going home, or your bedroom where you want to get a nice relaxing environment. And I'd like to see is more studies coming out as to how different different balances of white affect your everyday life, your mood, how the human brain reacts to lighting in itself. I think it's something that we really need to push because it's a very gray zone in terms of science. Some people think one thing, some people think other things, and I'm sure with the future, that's where we're going to, is to really come subtly play inside human minds to make them more relaxed, to make them more stressed, more aware. I think lighting is very, very key to all these feelings, let's say.